everybody, welcome back to Movies and That. I'm your host Cody, and today we are going to review Thanksgiving. So yes, the new Eli Roth movie, Thanksgiving, that just came out last night actually, and that's what I saw. Me and my buddy went and saw it last night, and yeah, it's a fun movie. It's in my opinion, it's not like a classic or anything like that. But it's a fun slasher. I mean, if you are into carnage candy, gore, and just slash, you're gonna get all that in this movie. So it does not hold back on the blood, on the kills, nothing like that. In my opinion, the plot, it's a little rushed. Like it jumps between events, like after kills would happen, like it immediately go to like the police scene, the crime scene, and questions like immediately like after that, and that kind of felt repetitive. But other than that, I mean, it was still a good time. We had a fun time with the movies last night watching this. So let's get into it. Thanksgiving, it was inspired by Eli Roth's own fake trailer that he made for Grindhouse back in 2007. I know that's been brought up a bunch of times since this movie was announced, and we started seeing the trailers for it and stuff like that. So I actually went back and watched that fake trailer, and we do get a lot of those kills that we see in the trailer in this movie, which is kind of cool to see. They're a little bit different, of course, but we do get those kills in here. So that's awesome that he wanted to make that trailer a reality and answer a lot of people's wishes, and he did. So kudos to Eli Roth on there. But yeah, so I mean, we got this group of teenagers, group of high schoolers. Jessica, she is our final girl. Then we got her friends. Guy's named Scuba. The other one, his name is Evan. And then we got Yulia. Addison Rae's character, I'm drawing a blank on it right now. I should have had that up. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on that. What's her name? What is her name? I'm going to look at it right now. Gabby. That's it, Gabby. I could not think of that. And then we got like this love triangle going on with Jessica with the character named Ryan and the character named Bobby. Then we're introduced to the police in town. We got Sheriff Newlawn. So he, and then his deputies. So it really centers around Jessica and her family. Her father specifically is named Thomas Wright, and he owns and runs as the CEO of Wright Mart, which is supposed to be like Walmart. So the movie starts out, and actually kind of cool how it starts out. So it's like, it starts out with like a shot of a home, and it kind of looks like in a way of like how Halloween, the original Halloween starts out. So like it says Haddonfield, Illinois, Halloween. Well, this one, it starts off with the front shot of the house, and it goes Plymouth, Massachusetts, Thanksgiving. And I thought that was pretty clever, but it sets up like the killer's going into the house, but it's not. It's actually the sheriff. Goes in the house. He's for Thanksgiving dinner, with I believe his girlfriend at the time and her family. But then I believe the one gentleman there, there was a love triangle going on there with the sheriff and the girlfriend, who also had a husband that she was cheating on with the sheriff with, but the husband worked at Wright Mart, and he got called in for an early opening at Wright Mart on Thanksgiving night for Black Friday. So we flash to Wright Mart. It's Black Friday. There's this huge, mass of people, group of people there, all waiting to get in to Wright Mart to get their goddamn deals and sales, and they're all talking about these waffle irons and stuff like that. Again, this movie doesn't really take itself too seriously, which I do enjoy. So yeah, it's making fun of the consumerism and the greed and all that stuff with this scene. We got Tim Dillon, who's one of the security guards, and there's like this one other security guard there with them. They're trying to get things calmed down. Doesn't really work. The sheriff ends up showing up too, trying to calm things down. However, our teenage group shows up. They get into a little yelling match with another group of teenagers. Actually, this is just one teenager, this jock guy, who I guess Evan fought prior, and they're talking shit. Anyway, our teenagers get into the store. They have an employee interest because Jessica is her daddy's, runs Right Mart, so she's able just to walk on in. The one jock sees it, so he starts, stirring up the group, saying, "Hey, they got in, blah blah blah," and they start pushing down the barriers, and then they run up towards the doors. The doors are still locked. They're beating on the doors trying to get in. The teenagers are inside, and they're like egging them on. They're like antagonizing the group that they're in there. They're not. Finally, though, push really does come to shove. Tim Dillon, the security guard, he flees because he knows what's about to happen. Shit's about to hit the fan. He gets out of there. He runs away. Leaves with just one security guard and the sheriff. Sheriff tries to calm things down. Doesn't work. All of a sudden, the doors just break open. Everybody rushes in the store. They're all trying to get their waffle iron. The one security guard gets trampled, and it's just chaos. It's just mayhem. One guy also gets trampled. We have the sheriff's girlfriend who was there giving Thanksgiving food to her husband or boyfriend. I forget who it was. She gets trampled. She gets like her scalp ripped off, which is crazy. From like a cart got caught in her hair and like ripped that off, and it's just nuts. And then so like her husband sees that and is just like in complete and utter disarray and shock over it. All kinds of chaos going on. There's this one dude who came in and like got his neck slashed on broken glass, but he's still going to get his waffle iron. He's like fucking staggering. He grabs the waffle iron and he still gets it. I think he dies though. But anyways, so yeah, there's this huge tragedy on Black Friday, and then it cuts to the title card, Thanksgiving. And then we flash forward a year later. So there's all this controversy that's surrounding the Wright family and Thomas Wright. Him, don't open on Black Friday, don't do this. And he's been given back to the community and all that good stuff. Well, it's, it shows... Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, let me back up real quick. Let me back up. Because Bobby, he was like a star standout pitcher, and he was Jessica's boyfriend at the time. They ran into Ryan then, too, in Black Friday, who was also Jessica love interest. But Bobby got his wrist, freaking stepped on and snapped, and I guess it was career-ending injury. And after that, I guess he, fled town. He left. He left town. So like that left Jessica mainly to Ryan, who swooped in and saved her. So anyways, let's fast forward to a year later. So all this controversy with Wright Mart and Thomas Wright, the Wright family, they're trying to make things better. They're getting ready for the Thanksgiving Day parade, I guess, that they do every year and things like that they don't want to do. Jessica doesn't want to do. Yeah. So we get to see some characters from the Black Friday riot, such as this waitress who was there, who wanted her damn waffle iron and got it. So we see this waitress. We get to our first kill, which is at the diner that she works at. It's late night. John Carver comes in, and that's who the killer is portraying. John Carver, who was invented or founded Thanksgiving and was the original governor of Plymouth Colony. So they were celebrating him, and everybody, they were handing out these John Carver masks at the diner. She was handing them out. So that night, she is closing up the diner, and John Carver comes in. And freaking manhandles her, grabs her, pushes her face into the sink, into water, takes it out, opens up the walk-in freezer, smashes her face on the freezer. She instantly freezes and sticks up against the freezer door. He rips her face, half her fucking face off, her skin at least. But somehow she manages to slip away. She gets into this manager's room, and she's all messed up. She's trying to call the cops and stuff like that. Can't get her phone open to do so. And for whatever reason, she decides to leave this safe office where she was. She was good. She thinks the guy left. So she gets out and she tries to go to her car, and John Carver's in the car waiting for her, runs her down, and smacks her up against a dumpster and cuts her body in half. And it shows, I mean, it shows everything, all the guts and everything. Like, this movie does not hold back on the gore at all. So then it goes to the next morning, and the cops get a call. Like, everyone's like, seeing like, what the hell is going on? And her body, the bottom half of her body, is on top of the right marked star, the signage that's on top of the building. It's wild. And again, wild kill. So after that, our group of teenagers all get notified by an Instagram page called John Carver. So that Instagram page says the table is, or that Instagram post that they're tagged in says the table is set. And it shows a picture of a Thanksgiving set table with their names and stuff on it. So they're like, what the hell's going on, right? So yeah, they bring that up to the cops. Cops really don't have much to offer them. The sheriff really doesn't care. And yeah, so really from then on, it's just kind of just setting up for these John Carver kills. Like, he is stalking this group, but he's also stalking other people. So like the next kill we get is Tim Dillon's character. He goes into this dude's apartment. He's getting ready to go on a trip to Puerto Rico, I believe, or Dominican Republic, one of the two. I think it's Puerto Rico. And he's getting ready. The buddy's there to pick him up, to take him to the airport. And, like, he can't find his passport after he just sat down on the table. So he's, like, looking around. And, like, he realizes somebody's in his house. So he, like, picks up a bat. He's, like, talking shit, saying, come out. And he has a cat, and he's asking this cat, like, hey, buddy, where is he? And all of a sudden, this dude, John Carver, comes up and sticks an electric meat cutter in this dude's gut and just cuts him up, and then gets a piano wire and decapitates him. And yeah, and that's pretty gnarly right there. But before Carver leaves the apartment, the cat like meows at him, and the cat's like standing next to his bowl, his food bowl. And Carver goes over and feeds the cat, pets him, and gets on his way. And then we cut to the dinner table that he set up, and you see you got the waitress's the top half of the waitress's body sits at the table, and then he puts Tim Dillon's head on the plate there. So he is setting up the table with people for the grand finale that we're going to get to. So yeah, then he goes, I believe we get the jock that they fought at the riot, that our group fought against, or at the riot was talking shit to. We get to his character. He's working out with his football buddies. He has a cheerleader girlfriend. Cheerleader, kind of like the stereotypical slutty cheerleader, gets him out of his workout, to go fool around. And so we cut to like this storage room. It has a trampoline in it. It's kind of like an auditorium in a way that they go into. And she's jumping on the trampoline, being a little slutty and stuff like that. And Carver comes out of nowhere, snaps the dude's neck who's watching it. She had her back turned, so she didn't see it. And then he gets underneath the trampoline. Sorry about that. She gets underneath the trampoline, or he gets underneath the trampoline, Carver does, sticks the knife up, and she bounces and stabs. And that's like some of the kills we get from that old trailer, that fake trailer. So yeah, that was a pretty fun kill there. So those two get killed. They cancel the game that they were supposed to play against that school because of those kills. And then it goes to who gets killed next? Now I'm drawing a blank. I'm going too off here. Yeah, so I think so it goes to Evan and his girlfriend. They're at the school, and like they, for some reason, go try to like fool around or something like that. And Evan and his girlfriend, like something happens, they get kidnapped. But Carver texts Jessica from, I believe it's Gabby's phone. And from Gabby's phone, to come here. So naturally, she's like kind of looking, should I go? Should I not? So she decides to go. Carver comes to get her, misses, swinging the axe, misses. She ends up escaping. They sweep the school. Of course, they don't find anything. So then it's down to her, Scuba, and Yulia. Yulia gets picked up by her dad, who's this like big Russian dude. He like shows up. He's like, Yulia, get the Mercedes. We're going to Florida. Funny as hell. So she goes with her dad. It's Scuba and Jessica. They decide to go to this guy or this other kid that they're friends with. His name's Picardi. He's a big gun guy. So they go to his house. He's also throwing a party at this time to get some guns. They get a gun, to go hunt him down or, for protection. And they get a call from Yulia, what's going on, things like that. And during that, Carver goes to Yulia's house. He kills the police officer that is there, tranks her dad, and then gets these corn holders, these corn tongs, goes up to Yulia and bang, smacks her in both ears with these corn holders. And she's walking around obviously like kind of deaf. And then they see this on live stream because Yulia was on the phone with them, with Scuba and Jessica. They rush to Yulia's house. They get in there too late though, because Carver has Yulia, and their house is getting remodeled, so there's a table saw there. He starts a table saw up and puts Yulia down, just slices her open. And he escapes, and Scuba and Jessica are just standing there in shock. So then after that, they decide, like, all right, we got to trap this guy somehow. So they figure out, they're talking with the cops, the sheriff, Jessica's dad. They're like, the best way to do this is to keep the parade on, bait him in the parade, and then try to capture him after the parade. Like, set something up like Jessica's going to be alone or something like that. Take the bait and get him. Well, they do the parade. They're sticking to that plan. But Carver's at the parade, but he's not dressed up in his pilgrim getup. He is dressed up as a clown. So he's dressed up as a clown. He chops this dude's head off in the middle of the parade. Chops the dude's head off, and then starts throwing smoke bombs and flashbangs everywhere. There's chaos, pandemonium going. There's like accidental deaths going on, like from cars stopping, the parade floats stopping, and like this one dude gets like his head impaled from a spike that comes from the parade float in the back. His blood's just like squirting onto like his kids or something like that. It's like very fucked up. So they go through that whole sequence, and the clown jumps into the car with Jessica, Scuba, Jessica's dad, and then Jessica's stepmom, Kathleen. They're all in the car together. They get into the car, or the clown takes the cop car and takes off with them. And he tranks them all. Then they wake up and they're all at the table. They're all at the table. But I'm sorry, actually, I'm missing something here. Oh, gotta focus. Focus. Now it's out of focus. Whoop. Technical difficulties here. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know why this is doing that. There we go. Alright, we're better now. So, we go to the table setting. Actually, it first starts out with Kathleen. She wakes up and she is currently being prepared. She's being dressed. She's getting lathered with oil. He's got the potatoes, the carrots. Looks like parsley all around her and stuff like that. And, yeah. After he is getting ready to bake her like a turkey. But he like turns his back on her for a second. She ends up escaping. She runs upstairs, manages to try to get out. Opens up this fridge though, and the cheerleader's in there all in this bag, and she's like bleeding and stuff like that. She grabs this wine bottle that was in there and tries to tries to get Carver. Carver's coming at her with a pitchfork, but he knows he's there. She tries to escape. He throws this pitchfork into her back, drags her back in. She wakes up in the oven, man. Wakes up in the oven. Oven turns on, and he literally bakes her at 500 degrees like a turkey. He even puts a freaking thermometer in her that actually pops. Wild. So then it goes to the table setting. They're all there. They're starting to wake up. Carver shows up and presents Kathleen literally like a Thanksgiving turkey. Literally like a Thanksgiving turkey. Seriously. They're all like freaking out naturally, of course. And then he starts like talking like, why he's doing this, what drove him to do this, why they're all there, the reason why he chose these people to be killed. And he even goes, he's like, all right, so let's begin. Before we eat, we're going to go around the table and say what we're thankful for. And then he proceeds to cut off a piece of Kathleen, Jessica's stepmom, to try to feed it to her husband, Jessica's dad, Thomas Wright. And he's like throwing up and stuff like that, and his cloth that's in his mouth, messed up. But Jessica and Scuba end up breaking out of their hand ties. Scuba goes right at Carver. This whole fight scene breaks out. Scuba doesn't die, but he gets smacked with the axe. Jessica ends up escaping him. And this is kind of where it didn't start making sense for me, and not really making sense, but like, so it's like it's set up like a whodunit, right? So Jessica manages to run away from where they were at. I believe it was the Carver house. Runs away and runs up on the sheriff, who's like in the middle of the road. He's on the ground. He's got blood. She like takes his gun, and she sees Bobby, who I kind of left that out. I'm sorry, guys, but Bobby showed up after, like, he was coming back helping out for the parade. So he was kind of like in the running. Him and Ryan were really in the running for like the killer. In my opinion, that's who people thought it might be. But it was neither one of them, and you'll see here. But she sees Bobby, and Bobby does have like the pilgrim get up on. So she like runs after him, and then the sheriff like shows up, says like it's okay, takes the gun back, and then like she leaves. She like goes outside. She hears the gunshots go. Sheriff comes out and says, "I think I shot him. I think I got him." And the rest of the cops show up. They can't find Bobby. But then they're like, again, not interrogating Jessica, but like, it's happened. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to find things out. So like, all right, we're going to go to the hospital so you can see your friend, so you can get checked out. Sheriff's like, don't worry, I'll take her. I just want to ask her a few more questions. Okay, so the other cops leave. And the sheriff turns out to be the killer. Because Jessica notices it from the burdocks that were on his shoes and pants from running through the woods chasing her after she escaped. And like, he starts admitting it and stuff like that. Well, she swiped Bobby's phone and was like live streaming his whole confession. So like the cat was out of the bag there, which he found out, and he just went into a rage. Tries to get her. Bobby shows up, helps to save the day. They're trying to escape, which they do. So they got in the truck. They're trying to flee, but the sheriff prevents that by like tying the cable to a pillar, to this concrete pillar. Can't get out. But Jessica did a great job by filling up this inflatable turkey that has flammable gas in it. I guess it was helium or hydrogen, something. I don't know. Something. It was flammable. And she shoots it with a musket with the black powder. Goes in, it blows up the turkey, blows up the sheriff. Not blows him up, but catches him on fire. And then it cuts to the ending scene where they're like clearing out the place, the firefighters, all this stuff. They're like, we didn't find anybody, everything's in ash. There's no way nothing could have survived that fire. But it's like showing like the firefighters come out with their masks and you can't see who it is. So it's like setting it up for a sequel. But yeah, so honestly, again, the story felt a little rushed. The characters, I didn't really care for at all. I mean, Jessica was a good final girl, in my opinion. I didn't really care for Bobby or Ryan for that fact, or really any of their characters. Um, but dialogue sucked, but it was fun. It was a fun slasher. It had a Thanksgiving theme to it. They definitely did that. They set that up great. Um, And yeah, if you guys just want something dumb and fun with a lot of kills and a lot of blood, and you want to watch something like that around Thanksgiving, this is your movie. For me, I might only rewatch it around Thanksgiving. It's definitely not going to be a movie where I'll pop in any time of the year. Absolutely not. But, maybe I'll rewatch it every so often. So, with that being said, everybody, I'm going to give this movie a C plus. Yeah, C plus is what I'll give Thanksgiving. It's above average for the most part. If they maybe would have had a little better story and plot to it and some better characters, it would have been up a little bit more. Maybe would have been that classic. But it's just a fun slasher. So that's what it is. So yeah, C plus is my rating. So that's it, guys. Thanksgiving 2023. Comment down below your thoughts. And like this video, subscribe for more, and have a great rest of your day. Thank you.